Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. One of the strongest forces for effective police work all over the United States is the close cooperation between all law enforcement agencies. On February 18th, Whitey Sims, murder suspect and fugitive from Nevada, had been captured by the Highway Patrol. On the 19th, he was turned over to the custody of Sergeant Sampson of the Nevada State Police. It is this kind of well-coordinated joint effort that makes crossing a state line no advantage to a criminal.
He's a killer. He shot a bank cashier in the back with his hands raised.
Well, do you want us to stay around here till the train shows up?
No need. He's all bundled up and hasn't a place to go.
And I was planning a vacation in Mexico.
I ain't got news for you, kid. You blow it. Good luck, Sergeant. Take care.
So long.
All right, get out the keys to those handcuffs and make it fast. Nobody's taking my brother anywhere.
Okay, let's go.
You take care of Sampson.
How is it, kid?
Not bad. Come on, let's roll.
Look, Fred's up on the street in the getaway car. You get up there as fast as you can. I'll hold him off.
What if he's not there?
You've got a gun. Use it. Grab the first car you can see, but get in touch with him as soon as you can.
What about you?
Don't worry about me. Get going.
Oh, come on now.
Get going.
Don't panic, honey.
What do you want?
Your car. Now start driving. Anywhere.
How's Sampson?
I got an ambulance on the way. He's still alive.
Stay with him. Whitey took off.
Headquarters by.
I'm heading north on Alden Street, intersection at Winchester. 10-4.
Whitey Sims, a ruthless killer whose present freedom had been gained at the expense of 2 more lives, now held a 3rd life in his grasp. And Dan Matthews of the Highway Patrol knew this man's flight must be stopped at all costs before his desperate bid for freedom continued to leave a trail of dead. Whitey Sims, clever, desperate, and ruthless, knew that his escape with Alice Carter had been spotted, and that he would not long be able to continue the race against the overwhelming odds of the Highway Patrol. He forced a terrified young woman to continue her frightening drive until he could find just the garage and car setup he hoped would trick the police.
Now, I can't stay here, baby. Where do you live?
Please take my car and leave me here.
Where do you live?
3 blocks from here.
Anyone home?
My mother, she has a gift shop there. The apartment's behind it, but you can't stay there. People come in and out all the time. Besides, my mother's an invalid. She's in a wheelchair.
Oh, stop it. You're breaking my heart. You're taking me home with you, honey. And that. Just as soon as I gimmick the ignition. Now, come on, get it.
$21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
I've lost him. I lost him somewhere between Ann and William Street. Set of roadblocks all around there. You've got descriptions and license. What goes with Sampson?
He's on his way to the hospital.
Keep me informed. 10-4.
10-4.
I forgot my bag.
Hurry it up. Come on, come on. Hurry up.
$21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
I want 2 units, one at Virginia and one at Williams. But I'll come in. 10-4?
10-4.
Took so long, Alice?
Mother,
Who is that man? What does he want?
What I want is no trouble out of either of you. Now, your daughter's been a good girl up until now. Let's see if you can be the same, huh?
The money is in the till behind that counter. Take it and get out.
Don't want your money. Right after her.
Goes to the apartment.
All right, let's go.
Young man, if you know what's good for you, you'll clear out.
Maybe you haven't noticed, madam, but I'm kind of hurt. I'd love to clear out, but I can't. Now, come on, move.
Do what he says, please.
No hoodlum with a gun is going to frighten me.
Lady, I'll kill you if I have to. Now, move.
Oh.
You. Get some boiling water and bandages. Quick! You get over there and stay there. Go on. Give me some scissors. What's that?
A customer, most likely.
Well, go wait on it. Remember, I'll be right behind this curtain. You make one mistake and I'll kill your daughter. Remember that.
I'll remember.
Whitey Sims was the most dangerous kind of criminal. Running, wounded, already wanted for murder, and perfectly willing to kill again at the slightest provocation.
He's gone.
That's good. How's the hot water and bandages coming along?
In a minute.
Anything with the convertible yet?
No, sir. Criminal record says a make on Whitey Sims' accomplice. It was his brother, Peter Sims.
Let's get something on Peter Sims then.
Highway Patrol.
Hey, remove the bullet. Doctor says Sergeant Sampson has a good chance.
Yes? Yes, that's the one. Now, what is that address? And the name? One moment, please. We've got a break. Now, Mrs. Sarah Burns, 1818 Oak Street, reports a car stolen from a garage. Convertible was left in its place.
Get a description of the car and contact me. Come on, let's move.
Mrs. Burns, can you describe your car, please? 55 station wagon, black. Thank you very much.
You know, you're not bad from some angles. You might even be passable. You get that sour look off your face. Hey, how come you're not married, Alice? How come she's not married?
That's none of your business.
Well, if it's yours, you sure didn't help out much, did you? How old are you, Alice? Hmm? How old are you? Well, what are you getting sore at? Fella asks a simple question, she gets sore.
Now, will you go?
I'll go when I'm ready.
Don't you realize the longer you stay here, the more chance there is you'll be found?
Shut up! I'm supposed to call a fella. It's busy.
Young man, you could show a little more respect for your elders.
No, please.
You tell her to keep her mouth shut.
Mother, please.
He wouldn't dare.
Oh, now, listen, lady. If the cops get me, it's a murder rap. It's my life. You understand that? So if I have to kill you and your daughter, I will do it.
You are frightened, aren't you? And a frightened man doesn't think very clearly. You may kill us, Mr. Whatever your name is, but they'll get you.
You Mrs. Burns?
Yes, I am.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. What do you know about this car?
Well, I was taking a nap when the music woke me up.
Music?
Yes, from the car radio. At first, I thought old Mrs. Linnett next door had her radio on too loud, as usual. So I came out to ask her to turn it down. Then I found it was coming from my garage. And when I opened the door, there was this car, and my own was gone.
Well, do you want to know something? We've been trying to find your car for the past 3-4 hours.
Headquarters to 2150.
Take it.
Headquarters to 2150.
2150, why?
We checked the license on the convertible. It's registered to Alice Carter, 24 Front Street. 10-4.
10-4.
Thanks very much for your cooperation. We'll be in touch with you. All right, start moving.
Just a moment, please.
Hey, remember, I'll kill your daughter. I will.
I'll remember. Oh, may I help you?
Yes, you can. I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. We're looking for an Alice Carter.
Alice is my daughter.
Have you heard from your daughter, Alice, in the past 3 or 4 hours?
She left this morning to do some shopping. Why?
Well, a guy picked up her car. He's an escapee, made her drive. I thought maybe they'd come here.
No, I haven't heard from her at all.
Does she live here with you?
Yes. We have the apartment in the back.
You see, this guy was wounded, and he's looking for a place to hide. Well, I'll tell you, if you hear from Alice, call Highway Patrol right away, will you?
I will, Mr. Matthews. I'll phone you just as soon as I hear from her.
Don't worry about your daughter. Sims needs her.
I understand. She has good sense enough to do what is right. And my doctor has forbidden me to worry.
You know, that's awful good advice.
Things will work out, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, too. Thanks a lot. Let's go.
He's gone. Alice, please.
Well, old lady, I sure gotta hand it to you.
He's inside there.
We'll have to watch that step with the 2 women in there.
Take a look down here. Case this. Mr. Burns' car.
That's it.
Let's look it over. Yeah, that's the car, all right.
There's blood on the floor mat.
Yeah, I know. How are we going to get him out of there without hurting the women?
And Mrs. Carter could help us?
Why don't you tell me? Tell you what, get on the horn, call headquarters.
3016, headquarters.
Headquarters by.
We found Sims. He's holed up in a gift shop at 24 Front Street. Send 2 units as soon as possible. Use caution. We'll come in from the rear. Have the units cover the front. 10-4?
10-4. Headquarters to units 2136 and 2762. Headquarters to units 2136 and 2762.
Carter's gift shop.
Mrs. Carter, this is Dan Matthews, Highway Patrol. I want you to pretend I'm your doctor.
Hello, Dr. Sugarman.
Sims is there, isn't he?
I'm still feeling the pain.
Can you get out of there with your daughter and leave him alone?
No. No, those pills won't work. I've tried them.
Is there a back entrance to your place?
Yes?
Is it open?
Yes, Doctor.
We'll be coming in that way in a couple of minutes. You and your daughter get to one side of the room.
Well, all I can do is try, and thank you so much for calling, Doctor. Dr. Sugarman is so thoughtful. He wants me to take more rest. Would it be all right with you if Alice put me to bed for my nap?
No, it wouldn't be all right with me. I want you both where I can see you.
Still frightened, aren't you? A frightened man is an angry man, Alice. I wonder how much of the violence in this world is committed by frightened men.
I told you to shut up.
Alice, come here.
Hey, what's going on?
We're 2 helpless women, and you have a gun. I wonder why you're so scared of us.
Who's scared? I told you to shut up!
Leave her alone.
You get back where you were!
All right, come on, drop it. Drop it.
No! You drop it! You come any closer and I'll kill this girl. Now drop it! Drop it! Move!
I'm getting out of here. You try to stop me and I'll kill her.
Stay there!
Didn't give you much of a target.
That was enough.
Yeah, get Sims out of here, huh? I'm going to have to take my hat off to you. You got an awful lot of moxie.
I couldn't worry or get excited. Doctor's orders. I have a bad heart.
Oh, well, let me tell you something. I wish ours was as bad. Thanks very much. See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, if you care to drive, drive with care. This is Bradley Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. One of the principal trouble sources of any law enforcement agency is circumstantial evidence. Too often, coincidence and chance conspire to point an overwhelming finger of guilt at an innocent person. The Highway Patrol encountered just such a case the morning that Stash Irwin, a wanted criminal, drove through the gates of the Apex Plastics Company.
Not one word. You, stand on the floor. Come on. Stand on the floor. All right, you, come here. Come on. Fire up. Her ankles, too. Gagger. Okay, around the back. Come on, around the back. Turn around. Turn around!
Okay. All right, mister, pull it up there. You have to wait now.
That's a gray convertible. No license number. All right, I got it, thanks. All right, we know the car was headed east when it left the plant. Could have doubled back. We can't take any chances. Put a roadblock here. Another one here. And one over here. Alert all units to look for a gray convertible. Let's go out to the plant that was robbed. Did you talk to the guard?
No, he's still unconscious. They're moving him from the dispensary to the hospital in town. So all we know is what we knew before. It was a gray convertible. Did find out one thing, though. The guard managed to fire 2 shots before he passed out.
In other words, we have no way of knowing whether somebody was waiting for him in the car or not.
But Mr. Stedman and I both told you the holdup man worked alone.
Yeah, Miss Fowler, when you saw him, he worked alone. But this doesn't rule out the possibility somebody else was waiting in the car. Now, there are a lot of things that don't add up. How did he get in the plant in the first place? As far as I understand it, you can't get into this plant without a company pass.
Well, of course, the gateman can pass a visitor through if he gets an okay from someone in authority.
Well, we'll know the answer to that and a lot of other questions when the guard regains consciousness. How much did he get?
$28,000.
For you, Mr. Matthews.
Oh, thanks. Listen, Matthews.
How's the neck?
Much better, thanks.
Oh? All right, fine. Get it to ballistics as soon as you can, will you? Thanks very much.
All right.
It's going to be quite a while before we can talk to the guard. He's in a coma.
Somebody sure left you stranded out in the middle of nowhere. I can take you as far as Farnsworth.
Suits me fine.
You all right, buddy?
It's nothing. Just a cold.
Sure you're okay?
It's nothing. Let's go.
Mister, I don't care what you say. You're sick. I'm going to get you to a doctor.
Look, will you forget about it? I'm all right, I tell you. Okay. So now you know. Just keep driving. From now on, you're my personal chauffeur.
Look, take the car, why don't you? Just let me go.
No dice. I need you to jockey me around.
When you're finished with me, how do I know you won't kill me?
You don't, pal. You don't.
Drop that gun and get out of the car. Drop that gun. Turn around. Put your hand on top of your head. Oh, am I glad to see you. I'll bet you are.
You expect us to believe, Mr. Siddons, that Irwin, badly wounded, was on the highway trying to hitch a ride?
Yes, that's what I expect you to believe.
You also expect us to believe that by a strange coincidence, you, an employee of Apex Plastics, the plant that was robbed this afternoon, gave Irwin a ride, coincidentally in a gray convertible. A gray convertible that's been identified as the car driven by the persons or persons who shot the guard.
Can I help it if there's so much coincidence? It's the truth, I tell you, every word. I never saw Irwin in my life before I picked him up on the road. Why, I wasn't anywhere near the plant when the robbery occurred.
No? Where were you then?
I told you. I went house hunting. Drove around, looking at homes.
Did you go back to the plant?
No, I didn't. I had no reason to.
28,000 is a pretty good reason.
I'm innocent, I tell you. I don't know why you keep hammering at me. It's easy enough to check my story. Ask him, why don't you? Ask Irwin. He'll verify what I'm saying. He'll tell you how it was.
If Irwin does any talking, it's going to be to a higher court than the one that tries you.
What do you mean?
Irwin's dead, Mr. Siddons.
2 hours of intensive questioning failed to shake Warren Siddons' testimony. While in the hospital, the wounded guard was fighting a grim battle for his life.
Won't budge. Still sticks to his story that the first time he saw Stash was when he picked him up on the highway.
Did he explain how Irwin got in the car? Or the fact that a witness said whoever shot the guard was driving the same make gray convertible?
Well, assuming that there were 2 great convertibles, it's possible maybe something went wrong with Stash's car and he had to get rid of it.
You really believe that?
I said it's possible.
He had the gun when we picked him up. The paraffin test proves he fired it. How about that?
Well, Siddons said he struggled with Stash and it went off during the fight.
And, of course, Stash isn't around to contest that version.
Well, what do you think?
Look at it this way. Stash needed inside help. Someone who knew the layout and could smuggle him inside the plant. Now, I could have ridden in with Siddons, maybe crouched down in the back of his car. Stash would have had to pull the actual holdup alone, because even with a mask, there was a chance that someone in payroll might recognize Siddons. So Stash got the money, came back down, got in the back of the car, and they started to drive off. When the guard heard the alarm go off, tried to stop the car. Siddons gunned him down. The guard managed to get off a couple of shots. And as he did, Stash had reared up to see what was going on and caught a slug. The rest we know.
And the money?
Well, he probably ditched it somewhere before running into the roadblock. Planned to come back and pick it up later.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's only one thing.
What's that?
No matter how much circumstantial evidence we've got, he's innocent until proven guilty. We've got to build a case against him which leaves no room for doubt.
That means a complete check of his story, step by step against the facts.
That's right. Now, the area where Siddons claimed he picked up Stash Irwin, have it gone over. Tell all units to fan out. Keep their eyes open for any sign of the car or the money.
heard it on the radio, I tell you, on the newscast. Stash is dead. They're holding Siddons on charges.
What about the money? They find that too?
No mention.
Just our luck. After everything had gone perfectly, this had to happen. They say Siddons had no alibi.
That's right. Why, what are you thinking?
That patrol guy. He implied Stash might have had inside help. But the finger could point at me, and I wouldn't much like that. Since Siddons is already in the fire, maybe you and I had better do what we can about making sure the police don't run out of coal.
That's the spot, all right. Siddons was definite about that sign when he picked Stash up.
And a car should be right around here if there was a car. Stash couldn't have walked very far in his condition.
Yeah, that's right. Have the men keep checking. Tell them to spread out and check further up the road. If you want me, I'll be at the Apex plant. Is this Siddons' desk?
Yes. Imagine all that time working with him, eating in the same cafeteria, and he was just waiting for the day to pull off that holdup. Why, I even let him drive me home from work one day.
Well, this is nice. A handicapping sheet, Barry Mutual tickets. It's worth about $2,000-3,000.
On his salary?
You want to see Siddons' time card?
Yeah.
You know, if he claims he punched out at noon, he's lying in his teeth. See for yourself.
According to this, he never punched out at all.
Well, he probably intended to punch out, but when the
Now,
guard
wait a
stopped
minute.
him...
Could something go wrong with the machine? Could it fail to register?
Look, as payroll supervisor, those machines are my department. I check them daily.
Thanks, Mr. Stedman. Excuse me.
Hello?
Relax, honey. I just wanted to tell you it's okay. I was able to get into our friend's house. Everything's taken care of.
Not one thing you've told us is checked out. Not one. The investigation failed to turn up any trace of the missing money or another gray convertible. Then there's this matter of your time card here.
I don't understand that. I distinctly remember punching out.
These were found in your desk. It's a lot of dough to spend on horses with your income.
Oh, I don't know how they got there. Somebody must have put them there by mistake. I never gamble, except maybe a quarter on the office football pool.
I suppose this was somebody else's mistake, too. They were found in your house, packed and ready for a trip.
They're not mine. I never saw them before. I don't even own any luggage.
They're packed with your clothes.
I can't help that. I never packed them.
We also found these travel folders. Mexico, Central, and South America. Also an airline timetable with the flight underscored tomorrow night, 8 o'clock to Lima, Peru. We checked with the airlines. They've got a reservation in your name.
I don't know anything about it, I tell you. I can't understand any of this. It's like some horrible nightmare.
Siddons, how do you expect us to believe you in the face of so much evidence?
Yeah. Sir Johnson, come here. That might be it. There's much too much evidence. It's all too neat. Only a chump in this case would deny his guilt, either that or an innocent man.
The lab said there were no prints on the luggage. Looked like it was wiped clean.
Well, regardless of that, we got enough on this guy to convict a dozen men, but anybody who's smart enough to plan and execute a job like this, well, he'd try to alibi himself, wouldn't he?
Could be. Somebody's trying to frame him.
Ask him a question. You did arrange for a passport, didn't you?
No.
If he's planning on taking tomorrow night's flight to Lima, he would have made passport provisions, wouldn't he? Matthews. What? When was this? All of it? Are you sure? Right, thanks. They found the money. It was in a culvert about 3 miles away from where Siddons said he picked up Irwin. They also found a gray convertible. Gas tank was punctured and the front seat was covered with blood. Well, that puts you in the clear. Sorry we had to put you through the ringer like this.
I know how it must have looked, all that coincidence.
Now we've got to find the guy who was trying to frame you.
Frame me? I don't understand. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. But why should anybody want to frame me?
Well, there's only one reason I can think of. They want to set you up as a patsy. Divert suspicion from them or him. Now, look, tell me, who's got access to your desk? Who can fool around with your time cards?
Someone I worked with. Someone I maybe even counted on as a friend. But that could be any one of several dozen persons. How'll you know which is guilty?
If we catch him, he'll tell us. Greed strapped a lot of guys, you know.
How do you mean?
Well, right now, we're the only ones that know that the $28,000 has been recovered. Now, with your help, we'll use it as bait. That and you.
I've got a personal axe to grind here. This day's experience has aged me 10 years. Somebody's going to pay for that.
Look, Mr. Siddons, I've got an idea.
Checked the code, but they didn't find anything. Yes, Siddons is very sure of the directions. Well, what can we lose? All right, I'm sure you have it straight in your mind. Okay, I'll meet you there in 15 minutes.
Miss Burgess, you're under arrest. Don't worry about your boyfriend. We'll keep the date for you. Let's go. We'll drop her off at the county jail on the way. Strange place to check the payroll. Don't be stupid. You're covered.
Get your hands up.
Look, I was only trying to help. I thought you may have missed something.
Yeah, sure. I bet you did. That's what Miss Burgess thought, too. Okay. Take him away. Next week's case, handled by the Highway Patrol, is a very exciting one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, the careless driver isn't driving his car. He's aiming it. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Well-equipped car is the primary means by which the Highway Patrol achieves high-speed mobility in order to combat organized crime. A patrolman would no more abandon his car than his gun. And yet, on July 22nd, a migrant worker proceeding along Highway 15 came upon a patrol car, engine running, keys in the ignition lock, but empty. The citizen hurried to telephone his strange discovery to Highway Patrol headquarters.
I've checked the radio log. Allard was in contact up to 12 o'clock.
Well, the sergeant says he was on regular detail, no special orders. Let's find out for ourselves. Come on. Looks like he stepped out of it a second ago into thin air.
There's no sign of a struggle.
Wait a minute. Here's something over here. Tire tracks. In a hurry to get away. Get the evidence, kid. I want an impression of these tracks. He's got to be around here somewhere. I'll get some help. $21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters, bye.
Allard's car in reported position. Send someone down to check it for fingerprints. Also, all available units for search party. Send Allard's picture to the newspapers. Ask TV and radio to broadcast a description. 10-4?
10-4.
Examination of Officer Allard's car had revealed nothing except that the radio was out of order. Newspapers and broadcast stations had cooperated fully, resulting in a number of false leads and an interview with Frank Hanley, a car painter.
No, it couldn't have been that, officer. All right, thanks very much anyway. Right. Now, go ahead, Mr. Hanley.
Now, this auto paint shop where I work, yeah, just across the street, there's a lunch wagon. Now, this officer stops there for lunch. I see his patrol car there lots of times, around noon. In fact, I was watching for him, and when he drove up, I run over to him, and I said, there's something funny about that car. And I pointed it out.
What car did you point out?
The one I painted. It was just coming out of the shop then.
What did the officer do?
He took right out after it.
Tell me, are you sure it was that officer?
Oh, yes, yes. He chased it towards Highway 15.
What kind of a car was it?
Well, it was a 56, Four-door sedan, painted light green. I painted it black.
Mr. Hanley, when a car comes to your shop and you make out a work slip, do you also take down the license number?
Oh, yeah.
DMV, please. St. Matthews, Highway Patrol. Get me a 2829 and license number 2 Nora 57516. Repeat, 2 Nora 57516, right? Did you get a good look at the guy that picked up the car?
You know, that's another reason I suspicioned him. When he come in, he had a bandage on one side of his face, and he kept that side towards me. Said his car needed a paint job. No, that car didn't need a paint job.
All right, go ahead. What a green 1956 four-door sedan. Registered to who? Theo Nielsen? Let me have the address, will you? Theo Nielsen Bookshop, 921 Main Street. Right, thanks very much. You've been a great help. Would you mind waiting? I'll send one of the boys in to take your statement.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like your car.
But, Mr. Matthews, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of autos just like mine.
Not with your license plates. Now, perhaps your plates were stolen, put on a car just like yours.
Ethel is very considerate.
Come again?
If the license plates were stolen, she wouldn't want to worry me. She'd just drive back from her holiday without any fuss and tell me when she got here.
I see. When did you render your car?
It's almost a week now. She should be back at any time. I know she's on her way back. Mr. Matthews, will my name have to be in the newspaper?
Well, until we talk to your friend, there's nothing we can tell the newspapers.
My bookshop, I've had it here for 10 years now. And my customers. I wouldn't want my name to be in the newspapers, Mr. Matthews. It would be too embarrassing.
Miss Nielsen, there's a man missing, perhaps murdered.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're going to have to pick your friend up on the highway and question her. We can't wait till she gets here.
Mr. Matthews.
Larry. Just let us handle it, will you?
They got to her first.
Take it easy, George.
Look, we'll do everything we can, but we need your help.
Headquarters at 2150.
I'll keep in touch with you.
All right.
2150, bye.
We were on our way out of town, all free and clear, and you had to use a gun.
The cop had us with her car repainted and the numbers hacked off.
He wouldn't have looked for the numbers, and I could have talked her into thinking I did the new paint job for her.
What about the 10,000 you talked her out of? That'd get us 5 to life. How are we going to cover that?
Good talk, sweet talk. She's love starved. She'd give her last cent for a promise of marriage, and did.
You had to con her out of a car, too. We were doing okay, just lifting and selling them. No, you had to take her for everything she was worth. And I had to be your brother. Well, this time you conned us right into the hot seat.
We can always shut her mouth.
Not if she's talked to the cops already. Look, I said, let's get out of here.
And leave a witness that can hang us? And maybe she hasn't talked. Go watch that cop and signal me when he's gone.
10-4.
Oh, Larry, thank heaven you called.
What's the matter?
Where's your brother? What is he mixed up in? Larry, a policeman was here. He says my car has something to do with the missing officer we've been reading about.
Didn't he ask to look at your car?
I lied, Larry. I told him I'd loaned it to a friend.
But you didn't lie, dear. I'm your friend. And more, I hope. Theo, the police have made a mistake because, well, you see, I've already gotten your car.
Oh, Larry, you have, thank heaven.
Now, listen carefully, Theo, dear. Your auto's in a used car lot here in town. My brother sold it to the dealer. I'm going down now to buy it back for you.
After all, from now on, it's going to be my job to protect you.
Well, shall I call the police and tell them it was all a mistake about my car being mixed up?
You don't understand, Theo, dear. The dealer has promised not to prosecute my brother if I pay for the car. I want to keep the police out of this. I don't want my brother to be hurt.
Neither do I, Larry. And I don't want you to be hurt either.
That's my girl. And now if the police do call again, just tell them that you'll be able to show them your car tomorrow. And maybe even today. You trust me, Theo?
Of course I do, Larry.
And do you love me?
Yes, Larry.
And you're still going to marry me?
Yes, Larry.
Call you later, dear.
Well, what do we do now?
We'll get rid of her in the brush on top of Canyon Pass on our way out of here.
How are we going to get her up there?
With my brain instead of your gun. Come on, let's go.
They sure did a good job of burning this one, didn't they?
He sure did. The description seems to check with the one Hanley gave us.
What about the license numbers?
Plates are gone.
Fingerprints?
Not a one.
Is Dorsey here?
Yeah, he's over there checking in the brush.
Well, the engine number will show it's her car.
No, they've been chiseled off. The body serial number has been ripped off, too. Over here!
Come on. Allard. Call headquarters and get the coroner out here. Then get a tow truck. I want that burned out job at headquarters. Dorsey,
Yes, sir.
that's got to be her car.
Well, there's always the chance it isn't.
Everything points to it being her car. You better get Miss Nielsen in again for questioning.
Theo Nielsen could not be linked to the burned-out car by the numbers on the engine, body, or license plates. They had all been obliterated. Still, every circumstance indicated that she had owned the car.
Miss Nielsen, I'm sorry I have to put you through all this, but I hope you understand.
That's all right.
All right, Miss Nielsen. You do admit you own a 1956 green four-door sedan. You say it's a couple of 100 miles away from there.
Yes, I told you a friend.
A witness saw your car. The license plate checked out to be yours. It was right here in the Springwood area.
He could have been mistaken.
Right, thanks very much. Now, Officer Allen chased his car to Highway 15. 2 hours later, the patrol car was found empty. But there were tire tracks there. We took an impression. Now, this is the impression of his tracks and a car exactly like yours. Do you notice any difference?
I don't know. There are many cars like mine.
24 hours later, 10 miles away, we found the car that made these tracks. Deliberately destroyed, burned beyond recognition. A car exactly like yours, Miss Nielsen.
Well, maybe when you find the patrolman.
We found Patrolman Allen. He was dead. Murdered. 50 yards away from the burned-out car. Your car. The murder car was your car, Miss Nielsen.
No. I know where my car is.
Where?
I'm getting it back today.
From Ethel Willoughby?
No. From a friend. A man to whom I loaned it. Larry has a younger brother. Oh, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Could Larry's brother have? But then how could Larry promise me?
Why don't you level with me? Why don't you start from the beginning?
1956, light green sedan. She'll never know the difference. Especially when she sees her own license plates. Put them on.
Nielsen, I'm sorry. I think you've been taken for a car and $10,000. I don't think it's your younger brother. I don't think it's Larry Gardner again. When?
At 6 o'clock when I close the shop. But I won't go. I don't ever want to see him again.
Well, you could help us by meeting him.
But why? He's made a terrible fool of me. Robbed me.
He's also suspected of murder. Does he know you've told me about him?
I didn't tell him.
Then he'll meet you. All you have to do is show at the parking lot. Then we can nab him.
All right. I'll meet him.
Now, you'll be well guarded. Now, act as usual. Close the shop at the usual time, then walk over to Highway 15. It's only a few blocks. And remember this. One of us will be near you at all times.
All right, Mr. Matthews.
Thanks. Get Dorsey and Johnson in here right away, will you?
The used car lot at Main and the highway was immediately staked out by a plainclothesman in an undercover car. A block away, concealed from the used car lot, Dan Matthews waited. Directly opposite Nielsen's bookstore, Officer Dorsey, in plain clothes and in an undercover car, maintained a close surveillance. All units were in constant communication. All necessary measures had been taken to protect Miss Nielsen and to apprehend the criminals. It was important to the plan that Miss Nielsen play her part well.
Hello.
Hello. Just to let you know we're here. We will be for about the next 5 hours. I'm parked right across the street. If you need me, just give me a sign. Say, by the way, do you have anything in early crime detection? About 1890s?
Yes, I have it in the bag. Most of my calls are for modern crime detection. I'll be right back.
Theo, dear.
Help, officer! Help, officer!
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Are you all right, Miss Nielsen?
Yes.
$21.12, $21.50.
Go ahead, 2112.
Gardner and accomplice making getaway from Nielsen's bookstore, 1956, light green four-door sedan. Direction of suspects unknown, 10-4?
10-4. 2150 to all units in Springwood area. Be on lookout for a 1956 light green four-door sedan, probably on Highway 15. Occupants are armed and dangerous. One is Larry Gardner, age, I'd say, about 50. He has one accomplice. Now, 3244, you search east on Highway 25. 4220, search west on Highway 25. 10-4?
$42.48 to $21.50.
Go ahead, 4248.
4248, 10 miles south of Springwood on top of Canyon Pass. 1956, light green, four-door sedan. Approximately 3 miles below me, approaching from Springwood. At moderate speed.
And block Canyon Pass at top. Converge on Canyon Pass from east to west. I'm coming in from north. 10-4?
10-4. $42.48 to $21.50.
2150, bye.
Suspect car has U-turned, proceeding back down Canyon Pass.
10-4.
I've never used a gun. He shot Allard.
He pulled the trigger, you mean? All right, move. See the Highway Patrol in action again next week. Until then, remember, leave blood at the Red Cross, not on the highway. This is Bradley Crawford saying see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. In the field of law enforcement, there are many instances in which more than one agency is needed to protect the public against a specific criminal. 13 years ago, Tom Thornton was convicted in another state of the murder of his partner, Harold Sylvester, and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The motive was robbery. More than $500,000 in cash and securities was taken from the safe and never recovered. 10 days ago, with time off for good behavior, Tom Thornton was released.
You Thornton?
That's right.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. The parole officer said I'd find you here.
Where'd you expect to find me? London, Paris, Rome?
Well, with $500,000, a man can go any place.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then play it dumb. Let's go.
Well, let's go where?
You're square with the state for killing a man, but you're still on the hook for that money that was missing at the time of the murder.
Oh, we're back to that again.
Yeah, we're back to that. $500,000 in cash and securities. That's not easy to forget.
You're talking in riddles.
About 8 days ago, the security started to show up. They checked with the original list.
Well, I didn't turn them in.
Let's find out. Come on.
I wired Center City that you picked up Thornton. They want you to find out if he has an accomplice.
Okay, we can talk in my office.
I've got nothing to say.
Maybe you'll change your mind. Sit down. The Center City police tell me you can go back for another 7 years.
For a murder I didn't commit.
I'm not here to argue what a jury said. Now listen to me. You can play it tough, or you can be a nice guy and answer some questions. It's your play.
I'm sorry. What do you want to know?
You got to your brother's place, Sue, about 10 days ago. Is that right?
That's right.
Have you been to Linwood since you got out?
No.
Freeport?
No.
Amityville?
I haven't been to Amityville, Freeport, or Linwood.
Tell me, you know a fellow by the name of Herbert Stewart?
Never heard of him.
Maybe you know him under another name.
Now you're talking in riddles again. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Securities who were missing at the time of the murder started turning up in Freeport, Amityville, and Linwood. They were turned in by a guy by the name of Herbert Stewart.
And you think I'm Herbert Stewart?
Either that or he was an accomplice in the original murder.
I didn't have an accomplice. I didn't murder my partner, and I don't know what happened to the money. I'm innocent. Oh, I know. You've heard that many times before from many people. But I am innocent.
Can I speak to you a minute?
Sure. Go on.
Another teletype from Center City. More of the missing securities have turned up for redemption. Right here in Hempstead at the City Bank.
Tell him I'll be right over. Why does a crook always think he's smarter than the law?
Because the laws are administered by people, and people make mistakes. They made a mistake in my case. I'm not a crook, and I'm not a murderer. No matter what 12 men on that jury said.
Sorry, Mr. Thornton, I can't buy that. You kept your mouth shut for 13 years, just so you could collect $500,000. Let's see, roughly that figures to about, $70,000 a year for the time you were in the pen. $35,000 if you had a partner. That's a fair country salary.
13 years ago, my salary as president of the company was $50,000 a year. Why should I take a cut in salary, plus a conviction for a murder I didn't commit?
We're going to find that out. Come on, let's go.
Yes? Oh, send them in. Come in, gentlemen.
I'm Dan Matthews. This is Mr. Thornton.
Sit down.
That's all right, thanks.
I understand from Officer Morris that you're here in regards to those missing securities.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know Mr. Thornton here?
I don't believe so. Are you a customer of this bank?
No.
What about the man that redeemed the securities?
Well, that was Herbert Stewart.
Is he a customer of the bank?
No.
How can you redeem securities for a man that's not a customer of the bank, a man you don't even know?
Well, those were call bonds. They're negotiable like money is. They can be turned in at any bank.
I see. How well do you know Stewart?
Not very well. I only met him once. Although I did have several phone conversations with him before he came in.
Describe him, will you?
Oh, a small, dapper man, bald, about 53 or 4, 140 pounds, lame in the left arm, some kind of paralysis.
You sure it wasn't his right arm?
I believe it was.
And did he have a little thin mustache?
Yes, he did.
Anything else?
No, I only saw him once. That was 2 days ago.
If you remember anything else, let me know, will you?
I certainly will.
You must be Dan Matthews. I'm Pearsall of Center City.
Glad to know you.
Figured you were much too smart for this, Thornton.
In what way, Sergeant? Or is it Lieutenant?
It's Lieutenant. And I figured you'd wait a little while before you started cashing any of those securities that we couldn't find.
How did you ever make Lieutenant? Because of the work you did in my case?
What happened to the bank?
Got a description of his accomplice, Herbert Stewart.
Good. None of the other bank managers was able to give us too good a description.
APB on Herbert Stewart. He's kind of a dapper guy, about 5'3", 5'4", 140 pounds. He's bald and got a very thin mustache. Well, this is important. He's got a lame right arm.
Recognize the description, Lieutenant?
Are you sure?
That's the description Carter at the bank gave us.
I don't believe it.
Do you want to tell him, Lieutenant? Or shall I give him the good news?
Well, that description fits Harold Sylvester. The man Thornton was supposed to have murdered 13 years ago.
What's the angle?
I told you I was innocent. I told everybody I was innocent, but nobody'd believe me. Now do you believe me, Lieutenant?
How'd you get a conviction for murder without the body?
We had all the evidence of murder. Bloodstains, dentures, fingernail. And we found $5,000 worth of missing securities in Thornton's basement.
What do you plan to do now, Lieutenant?
Why don't you go back to your brother's place? We'll find Stewart.
You mean you'll try to find Stewart? Well, let's call him Sylvester. Well, I'll be looking for him, too. And when I find him, I'm going to kill him.
You're what?
And there's nothing you can do about it. Because 13 years ago, I was convicted for the murder of Harold Sylvester. I paid the price for my crime, and I figure the state owes me this murder.
Look here, Thornton. You're not living in a jungle. There are laws that'll take care of Sylvester.
Nothing you can say will make me change my mind. When I find him, I'm going to kill him.
Why don't you take it easy? We'll find him. And he's liable for the same punishment you received.
How about giving me back the 13 years I lost?
You can collect damages.
From Sylvester? How much can he have left if he's forced to cash securities?
I'm not going to let you kill a man, Thornton.
I'm going to get Sylvester. I don't want damages. I don't want money. All I want are my 13 years back. And my friends. And my business and my reputation and all my dreams of tomorrow. Can you get them for me?
I'm going to stop you, Thornton.
I knew Sylvester for 15 years. I know what he'll do in any situation. I know what he's doing in this one. So long, gentlemen.
Put a tail on him right now.
I've been on the force for 25 years. The one nightmare I've always had was sending an innocent man to jail.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Well, look at it this way. It's your job to find evidence. The DA is to build a case. The jury to bring in a verdict and the judge to pass sentence.
It was my evidence that built the case. Every time Thornton yelled that he was innocent, we yelled back that he was a liar. We called him the brain because we could never collect the rest of the securities and the money. But now I don't know anymore.
We're going to have to find Sylvester before Thornton really becomes a murderer. Come on.
The first report we received of someone cashing securities was here, Linwood. 24 hours later, Freeport. 2 days later, Amityville. And today, here, Hempstead.
Those towns cover an area about 1,000 miles in 3 states. So wait a minute.
Oh, you saw that too?
Yeah, if Stewart or Sylvester's got a base of operation, he moves out from there. That should put him right about here.
Glen Falls.
Yeah. Contact Glen Falls. Tell him a man answering Stewart's description might be living in that area. Then get in touch with Center City. Have him get a photo of Sylvester over to Glen Falls right away. Tell him I'll be there in about 2 hours. You got it? Right.
Officers sending an innocent man to jail now face Detective Pearsall, plus a new added terror. The terror of knowing that Harold Sylvester, alive, could legally be killed by Tom Thornton.
2371 to 2150.
2150 by.
Suspect still on the bus.
Keep him inside. Don't lose him. I want to know where he gets off. 10-4?
10-4.
This is Lieutenant Pearsall from Center City.
What do you do?
Anything on Sylvester or Stewart?
No, not yet. We've checked the post office, bank, local stores. No one recognizes the description.
How large is Glen Falls?
According to the latest census, slightly over 4,000.
We've got to get to him before Thornton does.
He may not even be in Glen Falls.
Yeah.
Highway Patrol, Clark. Just a second. It's for you.
Oh, thanks. Matthews. What's that? Tell him to keep at it. Right. Thornton just got off the bus in Glen Falls. Now, if Stewart's not Sylvester, he's got to be an accomplice. And I don't buy the idea that Sylvester's alive.
That description fitted Sylvester too strongly. I'm convinced now that we're looking for Sylvester.
Why did Thornton get off the bus at Glen Falls at this particular time, and what makes him think Sylvester's here?
Thornton's no fool. Remember, he and Sylvester built a big business out of nothing in less than 5 years. You don't do that on luck. He could have figured Sylvester's whereabouts from the map, just as we did.
Maybe if Sylvester owns a car, a garage in this area might give us a lead.
I still don't get it. For 13 years, he stayed undercover. Now he comes out into the open. Why? Does he think we'd forget about the securities and the money?
Maybe he thinks we'll tie the redemption of the securities in with Thornton. Figures he's safe.
2371 to 2150.
2150 by.
Thornton's canvassing real estate offices and asking if anyone answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house.
Stay with it.
10-4.
2150 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Check the realty board. Get a list of all real estate brokers in this area. See if anybody answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house recently. 10-4?
10-4. Of course. Hilltop houses. Sylvester was named the king because he always wanted to stay on top of the heap. His house in Center City is on top of the highest hill. The company building is the tallest in town, and Sylvester has the penthouse suite.
You asked me if I'd sold or rented a hilltop house. Well, this being a one-man office, I advertise all my listings in the local paper. Well, about a year or so ago, I had a listing for a hilltop house, and I rented it the day the paper came out.
Who'd you rent it to?
Oh, wait a minute. Now, let me check my file. Here it is. Mr. Herman Sawyer.
You remember what he looked like?
You've got me. This chap called on the phone and said he'd rent it. And I asked him if he didn't want to see it first. He said no. If it's the highest hilltop house, he wanted it. And then he said he'd send me a check for the year's rent in the mail. And he wanted me to go and open the house and leave a lease there for him to sign, which I did. I got the signed lease in the mail the next morning. And he still lives there. The thing that makes me remember it, it's the first time I've never seen one of my clients. That answer your question?
Oh, well, not quite. Where's his house located?
Where Willow Road crosses Emerald Drive.
Headquarters to 2150.
2150 by.
Sergeant Garvey has lost Thornton. Also, real estate broker E.D. Chrisman reports rental of Hilltop House to Mr. Herman Sawyer on Willow Road near Emerald Drive.
Sawyer, Stewart, and Sylvester. Contact Garvey. Have him meet me at Willow and Emerald. 10-4?
10-4.
Checkmate.
Hello, Harold. Tom!
sign at all?
Just got here.
Let's take a look.
Hold it! I got here first like I said I would. Now go back to your car. You can't save him.
Don't be a fool, Thornton.
Don't you be a fool, Matthews. I've got Sylvester tied to the chair, and I've got his gun. And I'm going to kill him, inch by inch, a little at a time, just the way I died during those 13 years. Go back to your cars. I'll let you know when it's all over.
Could be bluffing, but we can't take that chance.
Let him think he convinced us.
We can lob tear gas in from here without any trouble.
Tear gas won't stop him from pulling the trigger.
In Thornton's present condition, he'll shoot if we try any of the conventional methods.
Yeah, but we got to get to him.
How? This is the only approach to the house. The other side drops down the hill.
We can't get in the front door, that's for sure. I'll try the back. You keep him busy.
Go ahead and shoot. You'd like that. Nice and quick. Well, I've waited 13 years, and it's not going to happen that fast. What are you going to do? What do you think I should do to get full value for 13 years? What would you do?
You always did want the most for your money. Always the cautious one. Playing it close to the vest.
And you always had to be the king. The top of the heap. You even had to have a house on top of a hill. You know what you have? An emperor's complex. Well, the king is dead. Or you will be, soon. I was just testing. Stay back.
I don't believe you.
Tell him. Don't let him kill me! Don't let him kill me! There's nothing anybody can do to stop me. How does it feel to know you're going to die?
You won't get away with it.
I didn't. They convicted me of your murder. And now I'm going to give them the evidence they need. Your body.
Thornton! Thornton!
I told you to get away from here. Now this is your last chance. If you're not out of here by the time I count 10, I'm going to kill him. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're going.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I told you not to try anything or I'd kill him. Now get away from him. Don't make me kill you, too.
Give me the gun, Thornton. You're no killer.
He's mine. I paid 13 years of my life for him. And I'm going to collect. I told you I'd shoot. Don't you believe me?
All right, Patrolfull, come on in. Sorry, Thornton, but you're under arrest.
Why?
You were carrying a gun. For you, that's illegal. Let's go.
You saved my life.
I didn't come here to save you.
Help Patrolfull. you'll be with us next week. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.